Hi there and welcome along to another workout for you to row along to. Today in the glorious sunshine we're going to do 5-minute intervals with 3 minutes rest in between. And this is available as RA24 on the ErgZone app. And you can do this at round about 28 strokes a minute and your pace is going to be round about 2k plus 5 seconds, which basically means 5 seconds slower than your 2k average. Now that puts this firmly in the mid-tier of the workouts, okay? This is going to be a hard workout that you're going to have to hold on in order to complete, but there shouldn't ever really be a point when you don't think that you can complete it, okay? Especially at 2k plus 5 and there's only 5 intervals. For quite a lot of people, that's going to be round about the amount of time that you'd normally spend rowing a 5 kilometre time trial, and probably round about your 5k pace as well. So when you factor in the 3 minutes rest here, this should be a piece of cake, really, shouldn't it? Anyway, because it's going to be a bit more of an intense workout today, we're going to start off with a 5-minute warm-up rather than the 4-minute warm-ups. Now, as always, start off by setting up your machine. Now you can go to your drag factor first. On a Concept 2, that's controlled by a lever on the other side of the machine that you can't quite see. If you don't know about drag factor, please check out the video on my YouTube channel. If you have a different kind of machine, just make sure and set it somewhere where you get a good resistance, good weight from your machine, but it doesn't feel like you're rowing a cruise ship down a river. Next up, if you can, set your monitor to eye height so you don't have to look up and you don't have to look down. And finally, the foot straps, you should set them at a point where you're able to comfortably get to the front of the machine with your shins in a vertical position. If you can't quite get there, then it means that they're probably going to be too high. If you're going scooting way past that vertical position, then they're maybe set a bit too low, but also gauge this with comfort. Okay, I'm rattling on a bit, so let's just get into our warm-up at round about 18 strokes per minute and just starting off at a nice gentle pace, okay? In 3, 2, 1, let's go. Now by gentle pace, I do mean gentle pace. I just want you to connect with your legs and arms for the time being. Just make sure that your muscles are starting to fire. If you've got any stiffness in your body, that you're starting to ease up a bit. And what we're going to do is we're just going to row at a nice warm-up pace, progressively getting to round about your 2k pace plus 20 seconds. So that's the average 500 meters for your 2k. So you take your total time, divide it by 4, and that's your average 500 meter pace. And you're going to be working through this warm-up to get close to round about 2k plus 20 after 3 minutes, and then we'll spend the next 2 minutes, or the last 2 minutes, sorry, of this warm-up going through just a couple of drills to make sure your body's properly eased off and you're ready for the session. So it's not a max workout today. It's not like it's a sprint that's going to take you into like a 10 out of 10 effort at any point. It's going to be around about 7, 8 out of 10 effort, so certainly up there. You're going to be longing for those rest intervals, the rest periods in between your intervals. But like I say, you shouldn't really hit a point when you don't think you can complete it. If anything, after the 3rd interval, I'd like you to see if you can go faster. So hold the first 3 at 2k plus 5 pace, but then see if the 4th one you can go maybe 2k plus 4, and then the 5th one, see how fast you can do it. Okay, so in 4 strokes time, we'll start our drill section by taking 1 foot out and putting it on the ground. 1 more stroke. So here we go. 1 foot out on the ground, but just continue rowing with as close to the same technique as you can. This gives you a chance to focus on stability and flexibility, and also thinking about whether you're able to get the same kind of a shove out of each leg. This is swap feet. I think I missed a stroke there. My other leg got one extra stroke. Now definitely I can feel my left leg has better flexibility than my right leg today. Around about the same amount of power, but I just feel I'm able to get more comfortably to the front of the machine. Okay, legs straight and just row with your back and arms. Just swing over your hips with your back, just going backwards and forwards, and then follow by pulling in the arms and then pushing out the arms and rocking forwards. It's an important phase of the stroke, this. Getting that timing right for swinging over your hips with your arms straight. And then pulling in. Right, the opposite, arms straight. Just push out from the front of the machine. Keep that forward lean and push from the front. Try and get that biting point of the flywheel or water wheel or whatever with that forward lean. 2 more strokes, 1 more stroke, 1 full stroke, there we go. Open it up at the end. Okay, if you're not fully warm and ready for the main interval, either hit pause and continue to row, or have a quick drink, move up and down the rail, do a little bit of light rowing just to make sure you're nice and warm for when we start the main session. But I'll quickly go through one more time what it is we're doing today. Okay then, so today's session is going to be 5 5-minute intervals with 3 minutes rest in between. Now if you haven't already loaded this into your monitor as RA24 in the ErgZone app, then you can either do that or you can just go ahead and program in 5-minute intervals with 3 minutes rest in between. There may be a slight chance that if you just program your monitor we'll end up a couple of seconds out of sync, but hopefully not if we get the timing right, okay? Now you can do this at around about 28 strokes per minute and your pace is going to be round about 2k plus 5, but like I said in the warm-up, towards the end if you want to try and go faster, if you think you've got more in you, then please do. I welcome that, okay? Right, so let's get started with our first session. Now I've set my monitor to undefined rests after that warm-up, so I have to hit the button before I can start. So let's hope this goes well. This is where it all goes terribly wrong, isn't it? Right, so let's get ready with our first interval. 5 minutes, 2k plus 5 pace at 28 strokes a minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I think that worked out okay. Apart from the fact my stroke rate's a bit low. Come on. It's one of the things about doing a warm-up at 18 and then trying to crack into 28. Your body's still thinking about that slower rate. But hopefully, now that we're 30 seconds into this interval, you've got your stroke rate and your pace sorted. Now remember, it was only a couple of weeks ago that we did 8 4-minute intervals. And that was a total of 32 minutes rowing with the same rest in between. Today we're doing 7 minutes less rowing, even though each interval is 1 minute longer. really, intensity wise, this should feel similar to that 8x4. Now, if this was any other week, I might have made this 6x5 with 3.5 or 4 minute rests, but as being we're at the last of the main training weeks on the 2K plan, with next week being the time trial week, need to make sure we're all prepped for that week with a tough top tier this week. It makes sense, don't worry. Okay, 2 minutes to go. I'm hoping you're nice and warm. So just for this next 45 or so strokes, really try and focus on your hip swing from that forward lean to the backward lean. You're going to hold that forward lean as you start the stroke. Don't swing back too early. Get the power in while you're still leaning forwards, and then only halfway through the leg drive do you eventually swing over your hips into that backward lean. But then you want to get back into that forward lean again as quickly as possible after you've finished the stroke. Okay, almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. Hopefully you're warm enough to hit that first interval at the right pace. But even if it took you a minute or so to get ready for it, or to get warmed up enough, hopefully most of that interval was at the right pace. Even if it wasn't, you should be well warmed up by now. So the next one should go very smoothly. But like I say, this is meant to be a mid-tier hard workout, okay? It's meant to be a 7 out of 10, certainly starting at 7 out of 10 intensity. Even if it does end up at 10 out of 10 if you end up trying to sprint the end, that's up to you, but the important part is the intensity is up there in the first place. If you're taking this easy and it feels like a 5 or 6 out of 10, you're not going hard enough. So really try and put in that power. Make sure that you're getting the benefits out of this, okay? It's important that you're hitting that point where you're putting in the effort and you're kind of needing to have that little mental switch to say, no, it's okay, I can keep on going, even when your body starts to say, you're starting to breathe quite hard and your muscles are getting quite sore. Are you sure you want to do this? Whether you're inside or outside, make sure to keep hydrated. I've got a bad habit of not drinking enough. I've also realised before starting this workout that I have quite a large selection of sunglasses. Between the white ones I was wearing the other day, there's the nice kind of Ray-Bans, there's these, there's the Oakleys, there's... I don't know how I've managed to amass so many different pairs of sunglasses. I like these ones though. They're quite oversized, quite big for my face, but I quite like that. Sun God, in case you're wanting to try them out, but that's that kind of carbon fibre look. Don't worry, I'm not selling them. There's no affiliate code or anything I'm just telling you about my sunglasses. Okay, so we've got 30 seconds to go. And make sure and reseat your seat. Make sure you're comfortable for the next 5 minutes worth of rowing. If you haven't had a drink, this is your last chance to have one before the next interval. Oh, okay, so just coming up for 15 seconds to go. Maybe pick up the handle now. Get yourself into that primed position at the front, leaning forward up on your sit bones. We're ready to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And that, going back to your body rock, that last little tidbit there about being up on your sit bones is vital. You want to be primed and forwards, up on your sit bones with your hips tilted forwards. Powerful posture, braced core by the front. So you don't want to be all soft and crumpled. You want to be powerful, up and ready for the power. And even as you drive to the back of the stroke, although you're then leaning back, try to keep those sit bones connected with the seat rather than crumpling your posture and tucking your tailbone underneath you. If you suffer from a lot of pain in your glutes when you row, it could well be because you're tucking your tailbone underneath you and kind of rolling back your hips too far and crumpling your posture, because that causes your sit bones to roll away and over your glutes, mashing them into a pulp. Well, not quite, but certainly squashing them like a rolling pin would. And that can be the cause of your butt pain. So really do think about being primed, up and ready at the front of the stroke, but also maintain that powerful posture at the back so that crumpling doesn't cause any pain to your backside or lose you power and rhythm. Remember, at 28 strokes a minute, this higher stroke rate is all about rhythm, and mostly it's about the rhythm of the recovery, getting that handle away over your knees, rocking back over your hips, and then bending your knees so that you slide effortlessly forwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Tell you one thing, I'm not going to be speeding up in the last two intervals. This added 1 minute of intensity is really rounding off the hard intensity, so that I hit about 2.5 minutes to go, about halfway through in that one. I'm starting to kind of think right now I have to hold on. Not entirely looking forward to intervals 3, 4 and 5, but that's the point of this row. The fortitude and strength of character that it builds for you is really important for getting you through the mid 1,000 meters point of a 2K race, where the first 500 tends to take care of itself. Like the first minute and a half, you'll be okay, and then it'll start to burn. But 500 meters, you should be okay. But then 1,500 down to 500, quite a lot of that's a mental battle, because it starts to get tough, obviously. And all you're doing is looking at the amount of distance you've got to go. And that can start to really play mind games with you. So it's rows like this, holding on through this. These are the ones that teach you to switch off that question. And then once you hit the last 500 meters in the 2K, you know you've only got anything between like a minute and a half or 2.5 minutes maybe left of the row. And you can just sprint your way home. Whether it's instantly or whether you progressively get faster and faster, but because you can see the finish line, that last 500 meters is usually a lot easier than the middle 1,000 anyway. I mean, it's the toughest part of the row, but I mean, mentally it's easiest because you know you're almost home. Okay, where are we? 36 seconds to go. Start getting your focus back to the machine. If you want to just slide up and down the rail in these rest intervals, and I'm on the second one, so it's a bit late to say this, but you can. I prefer not to do light rowing because that then uses the energy that I need for the main interval. Right, 15 seconds to go. Make sure you're strapped in. Reseat your backside, 10 seconds to go. Get your handle up. Find your starting position. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And in the same way, I was saying my body was used to rowing at 18 strokes a minute, so I found it hard to get to 28. Now that my body is used to the rhythm of 28 strokes a minute, I can pretty much hit rate and pace within a few strokes. And that's really what you want. If you need to spend 30 seconds building up to pace, that's 30 seconds of training intensity that you're missing out on. Okay, let's talk about arms. First thing to say is that as you start the stroke and you're holding that forward lean, keep your arms straight. You want to keep them straight, letting the power flow until past your legs at halfway. So legs get to halfway, and that's when your back swing begins. And then after your back swing begins, that's when you finally bend your arms and pull in to a strong finish. I mean strong. Don't underestimate that squeeze of power that you can get from that final pull. Send your elbows through your sides, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and finish with a handle at round about sternum height. In fact, you can hear the handle hitting off my heart rate monitor. So that shows whereabouts I'm finishing. So it means ideally you're coming out in a straight line from the machine, from front to back to front. And the pace you pull in at, release the handle at. Straight back out in a straight line. Unless you're practicing for water rowing, don't bother with the tap down. Just in and out. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Gotta admit, got to about 3 minutes to go there and wondered if this wasn't my day. Should I stop? So again, you can see the state I finished in, but I didn't have to stop. Could probably only have kept on going at that pace for another couple of minutes, but that's the difference between these hard mid tiers and the maximum top tiers. The maximum top tier, I'd be hanging all over myself, gasping for air, hoping that this rest goes on for 5 minutes instead of 3, because I won't have it in me to go again. But by the end of the next 2 minutes, I'll be ready to start again for the next interval. In fact, it's only a minute and a quarter gone and I'm kind of quite nicely recovered. Heart's at 110. So it feels tough in the throw of these intervals, and that's the point. And as you go through the interval, A, that exertion point gets sooner and sooner, and then B, the level of that exertion is going to rise as we go through the workout. So the next one, the fourth interval, is going to feel tougher than that one just did. And there's a good chance that what that means is that the fifth interval is going to dip its way into that top tier place, where afterwards you're going to be completely busted after giving it so much laldy. Give it some laldy, son. In order to get to a fast finish, but that's okay because it's the last interval. But the point of this workout is to maintain that pace all the way through, and then you can sprint hard at the end if you wish. The point just isn't to make it top tier all the way through. That's what session 4 is for. Okay, 36 seconds to go. Make sure you're comfortable. Get yourself mentally prepared. These last 2 intervals are going to be the ones that, certainly this one's going to probably be the toughest mentally, because it's going to be hard and you know you've still got one more to come at the end. 15 seconds to go, but this is where you need to hold on. This is an important one, okay? 10 seconds to go. Handle up, get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Straight back into it. Get your pace and stroke rate up there. Now if you have to back off 1 or 2 seconds, if you're not going faster, if you have to back off in order to keep this mid-tier, then do, but don't do it unless you have to. Try and push through. If you feel it's getting too much, just take another 3 or 4 strokes. Let 10 seconds roll by, and then decide again. And then maybe take 10 strokes. See how you feel. Then 10 seconds, then 10 strokes. And hopefully, by the time you've done that 1 or 2 times, you'll be closer enough to the finish that you know you can keep going. Now remember, your power is coming from your legs. So if you see your pace starting to drop, pay attention to whether you're still giving that good shove from the legs. Halfway. Push the machine away from you Hold your forward lean with straight arms and really think about pushing the machine away rather than pushing yourself backwards. And then shift your attention to the timing of when your feet press and your hands connect with the flywheel. You want it to be in unison. And then think about sliding forwards and then instantly pushing. You don't really want to pause at the front of the machine, and you certainly don't want to pause at the back of the machine. Okay, almost there. 30 seconds. You've got this. Just hold on. It's only another 9 strokes and we'll be done with only one more interval to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh. I had to drop my pace by a second then. Finished 151.2. I'm going to blame working out in the heat. Even though I know it's just that I'm right on the edge, but I'm trying to keep it within mid-tier range. Got other excuses, like I was working editing football over the weekend and it's Wednesday now, and apart from I did session 1 on Monday, which meant that I've done Friday, Monday, and then today, which is Wednesday, which is at least one session light, pretty much 2 sessions light really, because I didn't do Saturday or Sunday. It just shows the importance of keeping sessions like this, the intense ones, up if you want to hold it. The bottom tier ones are great kind of maintenance. If you need to come back, just do a bottom tier. You've got 3 days, do another bottom tier, whatever. And then when you have the space to start thinking about performance again, you can start looking at things like these mid tiers and then the top tiers as well. It may well be in those instances that you're actually best to do a series of bottom tiers and top tiers and skip the mid ones, because bottom tiers will give you the foundation, that kind of base fitness that you need. The top tiers will give you the top end power and speed, and then when they marry together they make the mid tier. So the mid tier is really like your baby bear. Maybe that's how I should rename them. It's like Papa Bear, Baby Bear, Mama Bear. Mama Bear's the toughest, obviously. Mama Bears are always the toughest. They're the strongest. They're the ones that'll always win. They'll always do the best. Gotta love a Mama Bear. Okay, coming up for 30 seconds to go. Got one more interval to go, and then we'll have a quick drink, and then we'll do our normal 2-minute cool down. Okay. but just make sure and hold on for this one, okay? It's your last interval. You see the finish line in sight, so hold on as best you can. If you can go faster, go faster. Okay, pick up your handle, get ready to go in 10 seconds. Wiggle your bottom. We're going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Last one. I'm tempted to maybe not speak as much as I have been, but you know me. Even when I promise I'm not going to talk, I still keep on going at you. Right. Really just focus on your technique. Got around about 4 minutes to go. So, power starts with the legs, then your back, and then your arms come in to a finish. And arms away, rock over your hips, get back into that forward lean, hands past your knees, and then bend your knees to slide back up the rail, only as far as shins vertical. If your seat is banging off your heels, you're sliding too far forwards, and chances are you have a backward rounded posture. Remember, forward lean means hips tilted forwards, not back rolled in with your tailbone underneath. You're not making a C shape from lower to upper back. You want it to be pretty much an L. Or at least a forward leaning straight line. Almost to 1 minute to go. If you haven't already, and you think you have it in you, push harder with the legs. Try to hold stroke rate, but get more power from a bigger pull and a bigger press with your legs. So push, pull, push, pull. Leave the pull to the end. Hang off the handle with straight arms at the leg drive. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gotta say, I definitely hit top tier. That 1 minute to go, I had nothing in me to go faster. But hopefully you'll agree that the majority of that row was a mid-tier. And it was maybe only the last couple of minutes of interval 4 and 5 that became top tier. Okay. Let's get into a cool 2 minute cool down. Whew. In 3, 2, 1, go. So back to 18 strokes a minute again, and just connecting with the arms and legs. Maybe 2k plus 30 to 35 pace. You don't want this to take any toll on your cardio or on your muscles. You're just letting your body ease into a cooled state rather than plummet. So I definitely chalk today's row up as one with some of the most intense moments in it, even if it wasn't all up at a big intensity, as it's not meant to be, because like I keep saying, it's just a mid-tier hard workout. It's not meant to be a maximum tough, but certainly did get there a couple of times. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment, either in the YouTube video or on the podcast comments. If it's on the podcast, leave me a review. I don't think anyone has. Had 10,000 downloads so far. Anyway, not that it matters, but it just means when people search for rowing workouts, if they see a good review, they might listen to it. I'm letting you do my marketing for me. But anyway, next up, if you're doing this as part of the 2K redo plan, next up is week 4, session 3, which is back to a bottom tier fitness building, calorie burning, however you want to call it, but that kind of low rate, slower row that won't take anywhere near where we got to today. So I hope you'll join me for that one. Hashtag not quite top, but it was almost there, wasn't it? It was not quite top, almost there. Anyway, thank you so much for coming along and doing this one. I really appreciate it. I'm going to get out the sun. None of my normal long outros because I forgot to stop slap. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Stay safe, be well, bye bye.